That's right. He's making progress and he's doing better, but he was not out there today. Again, this was an extra practice day, a little bonus day coming out of the bye. So he still has plenty of time to get ready to return to his QB2 role by the time that they go to New York and face the Jets on Sunday. But they also don't have to rush it because they have Bailey Zappi ready to stand in there, and he actually has a lot more experience than Shedeur Sanders. So it probably wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if Bailey had to remain QB2 for another week. So we'll have to see how that goes, but it was an interesting development today.
Mary Kay Cabot has just dropped another bombshell report ahead of the Jets game. She now claims Shedeur Sanders' injury is far too serious for him to start. But hold on, Shedeur himself has never confirmed that information. He only stated that he has been receiving treatment, not that he's too injured to play, and we have seen him out on the field practicing, saying he's preparing for big things. So what is really going on here? Is Mary Kay attempting to push another fabricated injury story to cover up Stefanski's steadfast refusal to let Shedeur start? Or is Shedeur actually hurt worse than we think? This latest twist has just made the entire situation way more suspicious.
Shedeur Sanders rants. Now, Shedeur Sanders has to make sure he's 100% ready to go, and I'm sure he's going to do that. He's been doing it all through this bye week. We saw that numerous times on Twitch, along with that meeting with primetime Deion Sanders out there in Colorado, because Coach Prime also mentioned that Shedeur Sanders was getting treatment, which is very important. I'm still scratching my head a little bit considering Shedeur Sanders has a back injury, because he really haven't been getting any first team reps, any type of reps. I mean, he's been practicing on his own, so the fact that he has been dealing with an injury is a little bit questionable, but he did confirm those things not only during the bye week on Twitch, but also Coach Prime confirmed that as well when he spoke about him getting treatment at Colorado. And of course, Shedeur Sanders probably have something that's going on that's very minor, but he's seen enough with Kevin Stefanski's offense to the point where there's no need to rush out there and risk injury throwing 5-yard passes all game. So with this announcement, as far as offensive coordinator play calling change, maybe this will speed up the process when it comes to Shedeur Sanders getting himself ready to go. Not to say that it was going to change anything, because we already know Shedeur Sanders is going to make sure that he's ready to go.
Mary Kay once again proves she will say virtually anything to keep Shedeur Sanders out of the spotlight. She attempts to sound objective, but every word seems to reflect the same old agenda of downplaying Shedeur's progress and hyping up someone else just to justify Stefanski's poor decisions. She keeps saying he's making progress as if that's a compliment, but then immediately reminds everyone that he wasn't out there today, as if that somehow proves he's not ready. What she conveniently neglects to mention is that it wasn't even a full practice day, it was a light extra session. Shedeur's been diligently working on his own, putting in real reps, but Mary Kay won't mention that because it doesn't align with her preferred narrative that Shedeur's not ready, not experienced, not enough. It is the same predictable pattern every single time she opens her mouth. Then she casually throws in that they don't have to rush it line, pretending she's being reasonable while subtly pushing the same dig that Shedeur isn't reliable. And of course she brings up Bailey Zappi as if he's some proven star. Seriously, she's acting like sitting behind Mac Jones in New England suddenly makes Zappi a veteran quarterback. The guy has barely made an impact, yet somehow Mary Kay discusses him as if he's the safer option. It is amusing how she never applies that same he has time logic to other players, only Shedeur. Why is it always him she talks about as if he's not ready, as if he's disposable? It is clear what she is doing. She is helping Stefanski shape the narrative so that when Shedeur sits again, it looks like a prudent act of caution instead of another poor coaching call. And honestly, this isn't reporting anymore. It's spin, and no one can execute it as proficiently as Mary Kay. Mary Kay is not analyzing the situation. She is defending it. She's providing Stefanski with the perfect out before kickoff, softening the narrative so fans don't question why Shedeur is not starting again. She is trying to normalize it, but we have all seen Shedeur practicing, talking about being ready for big things. So what is this all really about? Is Stefanski so profoundly threatened by the idea of Shedeur shining that he needs Mary Kay to keep planting these injury stories? Or is she just too comfortable protecting the coach instead of calling him out? Either way, it's getting pathetic at this point. What do you guys guys think? Is Mary Kay pushing another cover story for Stefanski, or is she really this clueless? The entire situation surrounding Shedeur's injury has metastasized into something far bigger than just a player getting treatment. From the very start, the details have been blurry, almost too blurry, as if someone deliberately wants them that way. We have seen Shedeur himself talking about getting treatment during the bye week, and even Coach Prime confirmed it while mentioning Shedeur's visit to Colorado. But here is where things get strange. Shedeur hasn't been taking first-team reps. Instead, he's been practicing on his own, keeping his work quiet but consistent. That fact alone raises eyebrows. If he's truly that injured, why is he still training? And if he's not that hurt, why is he not being allowed anywhere near the first team? Everything points toward a hidden tension between the player's determination to prove himself and the coaching staff's decision to keep him sidelined under the guise of precaution. And now it all feels like part of a larger game being played behind closed doors. Because if the injury is as minor as it sounds, why does Mary Kay keep building it up as serious? Why is Stefanski pretending there's no rush when Shedeur himself has said he's getting ready? Why are we seeing him practice, move fine, and still hearing that he's not ready? And what about this new offensive coordinator change? Is that really about fixing the offense, or just another excuse to delay Shedeur's comeback? Too many questions, too few real answers. The truth might be that Shedeur is fine, not perfect, but ready enough. And maybe that is precisely what scares them, because if he steps back in and performs, it blows up the entire injury narrative they've been feeding everyone. Something about all this doesn't add up, and the longer it goes on, the more it feels like this whole injury might be less about pain and more about politics.
Yeah, that's, I think, basically how it went down exactly, where you and I looked at each other, Dan, and I was like, I don't see number 12 out there, and you kind of confirmed what I was seeing. But look, this is obviously something we saw it heading into the New England game. Shedeur Sanders, his name alone continues to move the needle, and it's going to be something that people are interested in a game where, quite honestly, two teams with losing records right now, there's not, I don't think, going to be nationally a ton of intrigue, but Shedeur Sanders.
It's genuinely amusing how, even when Shedeur is not physically on the field, all eyes remain steadfastly fixed on him. The instant reporters realized that number 12 was not out there, the entire energy of the situation palpably shifted, because no matter what anyone says, Shedeur is the story. His name alone commands a level of attention, generates headlines, and creates a degree of pressure that most players are simply incapable of handling. But he does it with a sheer, unshakable confidence. Even in a game between two struggling teams, everyone is still talking about him. Not the records, not the matchups, just Shedeur. And that single fact tells you everything you need to know. He has become bigger than the confining situation Stefanski is attempting to trap him in. The media can pretend this is merely about an absence, but deep down, they know that people tune in specifically for Shedeur, for his immense potential, for his compelling story, and for the unjust way he is being held back, despite doing everything right. He's been diligently training, staying laser focused, doing the work, and still, he manages to keep fans completely hooked without even stepping onto the field. That is undeniable star power, and maybe that is what truly bothers them, that even when Shedeur is quiet, he still effortlessly owns it all.
Today, as reported, head coach for the Cleveland Browns, Kevin Stefanski, reported that he will step down and allow Tommy Rees to take over for the play calling, which should have been done because Tommy Rees is the offensive coordinator.
This move, long overdue in the eyes of many beleaguered fans and discerning analysts alike, could potentially change everything for the Browns' profoundly struggling offense. Kevin Stefanski has officially stepped down from his play-calling duties, handing the reins over to the offensive coordinator, Tommy Rees. The timing is certainly no coincidence either. With the immense growing pressure surrounding the Shedeur situation and the team's crippling inconsistency, it feels as though something truly significant is about to unfold. The real question now is this a genuine fresh start for the Cleveland Browns? Or is it merely a desperate last-ditch attempt to fix what Stefanski's own playbook has already irrevocably broken? For the second consecutive year, he has stepped back, this time ceding control to offensive coordinator Tommy Rees. The timing is nothing short of shocking, coming right after a bye week and precisely when the offense is in a state of utter destruction. Stefanski stated that he is always looking at what we can do better and that he has a ton of trust in Rees, calling the move an exciting step forward. But if we are being completely honest, this sounds less like a sensible strategic shift and more like pure unadulterated adulterated damage control. The Browns' offense has been perpetually stuck in the same debilitating cycle of confusion and inconsistency, and Stefanski's latest maneuver feels like another desperate attempt to cover up his own glaring failures. He is not leading the team. He is running from the very mess he created, and honestly, this is not leadership. This is panic, thinly disguised as humility. Stefanski has had years to fix this offense, yet every single time things completely fall apart, he hides behind the same tired excuse of change. He passes the responsibility to someone else and conveniently calls it trust. If he truly trusted Reese, why wait until the middle of the season to let him call the plays? Why not do it before the team started looking completely lost all over again? Because Stefanski only acts when he is cornered, when his so-called offensive genius stops working and people start asking the hard questions. The truth is, he has run out of ideas, and the locker room probably knows it. Giving up play-calling duties for the second straight year is not a sign of growth. It is definitive proof that he has not learned a single thing from the first time. How many more chances does he need before the organization finally realizes that the problem is not the playbook, it is the man who keeps rewriting it?